Hi there. Exciting night. Exciting night. I've got a model to put together. I don't have any idea what this thing looks like outside the box, but we're gonna find out. This one's a doozy. I think this one is a little bit out of my league, but I'm gonna give it a go. I've thought a little bit about color scheme and stuff like that, but not too much. The main thing is I want to get the main parts together. Thanks, alarm. Boop. Um, get the main parts together and go from there. I'm going to keep the wings separate. I'm going to keep a lot of the magical warpy stuff separate. But we'll have to see how it comes together and see what other sort of sub-assembly bits we leave separate. So here we go. Let us see what's in this box. I'm actually going to toss my phone over here so it doesn't scream at the microphone if it goes off. Never know when I'll be called upon to do some sort of weird stuff. Alrighty. Still got Plague Marine bits lying around on this desk. Toss that. Exciting. Alrighty. And I have cranked out a lot of models in the last few weeks. I should probably clean my space. Got a bunch of empty boxes sitting next to me. Alright. We got one manual. Sure looks like Mortarion. That part checks. Oh, this model does not look too intimidating to build. I mean, this sprue, big as it is, a lot of these parts are pretty massive. I mean, obviously the wings are pretty huge, but a lot of the stuff that is draped down, all that stuff, I was kind of expecting more of a put this piece on top of that chain on top of this loop here, but it's not really like that. It looks like, try to do this so it doesn't totally blind you guys, like it's this entire side draping piece all the way up to where it gets swooshy right there. And the same appears to be true on the other side, so that's positive. And this, I can dump the other part of the box over here. This sprue has all the sort of details in it. Obviously, I got a base, I can set that aside. So all the bits like the chains, hey, how are you? All is well. How are you doing? Yeah, all's pretty well. I'm psyched. It's crazy that this thing is just on two big sprues, and it's not an amazing amount of small bits. But yeah, it's good to see you, Pyrrha. Um, it's time, crazy time. So yeah, the scythe, hands, chains, rebreather stuff, pauldrons, all that jazz is on here. So it's funny, a couple weeks ago I had a lot more space on this shelf over here to sort of keep stuff in the interim. Move those guys over there because I got to take a picture of them in a bit. Those guys over there gives me a little bit of a shelf. All right, so he's got two poses. You can switch up gun versus scythe. Left hand versus right hand. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I do have a decision to make. Okay, the arms sort of come at the end. Do the head totally separate. Mostly built without it for quite some time. So it looks like the head is strangely different depending on which arm gets the scythe and which arm gets lantern. Isn't that what it's called? His gun. His gun. Yeah. The full painting guide can be found at citadelcolor.com/guides. I don't think I'm going to paint this guy this way. I think what I'm going to do is actually paint him most of his armor, if not all of it, in this lighter style. And I'll tell you why. It's because my army is a whole big pile of green. I've got that Knight Tyrant, who's a big pile of green. And I want this guy to stand out, and his wings are already light colored. So I'm probably going to paint him pretty light. It's basically this white color with a bunch of Seraphim Sepia. It sort of harkens back to pre-Horus Heresy days. Heresy days. Looks like bone, so that part's cool. So I think I'm going to paint him relatively light. The wings, really unclear. I bought like 10 more pots of colors. I have a bunch of lighter stuff, so I can start to do some transitions. But that remains to be seen. We got to get him all put together. Oh, well. No time like the present. Might as well get started. It's interesting because you put, I mean, it looks like you put a bunch of his body together and then they're like, hey, just go ahead and plop him down. I don't think he's going on that base. And maybe he can. He might be all right. We'll see how he looks, how complicated he looks when I get through this part. He might actually base okay. I spent a lot of time gazing at this model, different pictures of it, and he's so huge that it doesn't look that problematic to base him, but we'll see. All right, where to begin? 11 and 12. I'm guessing most of that is on this. And I should have the number side up. There's 11. Oh my gosh. Hey, Lizard. Yeah, this is happening. This is ceremonial first snip. Can't believe I'm putting this guy together. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little daunted, but just a little. 11 and 12. 48. Looks like it. 61. No. It is just a shin guard. His gun looks dope. It's like a revolver. He is such a cool dude. He's exceedingly whiny in some of the books where he's the arch villain, but I give him a pass on that. There's 12. I have a running theory now that I'm reading about more and more Primarchs that shin's supposed to have a notch in it. It is not. That the traitor legions are actually run by they're all whiny. Yeah, I mean that's fair. But the traitor legions are all run by the Primarchs that most closely were following in certain aspects of the Emperor's footsteps. Now that I'm through Fulgrim, I'm like, wow, that is. If you read the early Horus Heresy stuff and then you read Master of Mankind, do I have all my lights on? I do. Good. I'm gonna turn this one this way. Nah, I'm not. We'll leave that way. Keep things shiny back there. There's just a lot of amazing parallels that come up. Like, I'm getting through the Magnus stuff right now, and I just finished the like trial at Nicaea, and it's so amazing because like everything that Magnus says on the stand is like stuff the Emperor says. It's actually like the Emperor's big mission. The Emperor's whole mission, as he sort of sees it in Master of Mankind, is to like elevate the human race as it comes into its own as a psychic race. And Magnus is like, hey, the whole story about the guys in the cave and they're looking at the fire. That whole thing that's about, I don't know, the elevation of mankind through knowledge. And at the end, the Emperor's like, "Yeah, no, you're being bad. You're being bad." Fulgrim has a bunch of the aspects of how the Emperor presents himself, and the Emperor takes the presentation very seriously. And he talks a lot about that in Master of Mankind as well. He's like, "I choose to look this way," which is, I don't know, 8, 10 feet tall, uh, decked out in all radiant gold, too shiny to look at, godlike, for lack of a better term. And, but no, don't call him a god. But like that image of perfection that Fulgrim is so trying to do, Emperor sort of got that whole thing started in spades, very much like the Emperor. Horus, behold, I've got to go out and just, I can't just have humanity be strong. I have to, like the Emperor, go take on the whole known universe. Got the Emperor written all over it. I mean, you take someone like, what is his name, Jagatai Khan, and that guy just likes to go fast and be heroic and be good to people. No crazy conflict there. It's upside down? I'm guessing it is upside down. Fit right? Yeah, you do fit right. Ooh, you fit's almost right. All right. Let's see if this comes off here. I'm so skeptical of this model. Just trying to be super careful. Don't want a lot of gaps in it. All right, that will fit. It will fit. All right, here we go. But yes, all the Primarchs are pretty whiny. This thing may need to get torched. I think we're torching. I'll just get it out of the way now. Don't do this at home, kids. Yeah. But definitely some of the Primarchs are whinier than others, I think. I think if you're a traitor Primarch, or at least a villain in a story for a loyalist, it gets pretty rough. You get portrayed pretty darn whiny. But honestly, like Mortarion's just so emo. But it doesn't matter because his model's flipping awesome and I have it. And now he's my favorite. Yeah, Vulcan is not whiny. Dude, there's a oh my god, Vulcan just runs around taking one for the team. You want to know who else isn't whiny? The two Primarchs that no one knows about anymore. They were redacted because they weren't whiny. Um, but yeah, Vulcan is just like pretty on point. Um, I mean, Ferris Manus, while he was around, wasn't too whiny. That's why he lost his head. Wasn't whiny enough. 1614. I did love in the Fulgrim book, like, the moment Fulgrim tries to turn Ferris, it's just like, yeah, no, let's fight. Love it. Didn't even pause. There's 16, 14, I think was on this guy. I think 61. What do you even look like, 14? There you are. Boop. Folks, we practically have a whole leg together. Look at that. Progress. Yeah, indeed. Even less whiny now that he has no head. I did like the fact that in the sort of first showdown with Fulgrim, when Fulgrim's like, "Hey, how about we just, I don't know, betray our dad for no good reason?" And Fulgrim's argument is just like, it's like I think the Emperor wants to become a god and leave us behind. That's all he says. It doesn't work, of course. But Fulcrum ends up just like barehanded crushing, or Ferris ends up barehand crushing Fulgrim's sword, which Ferris Manus made back in the day. And then when they finally have their throwdown at the end, he shows back up with it reforged. Like, that is a blacksmith's snub my nose at you move if ever I heard of one. I think Vulcan just suffers all the time, doesn't he? Pretty sure that's all he does. Like, Istvan 5's got the whole drop thing going. I think it's Master of Mankind where no. It's the end and the death. The first chapter, the first book of it. There's some description like he's I can't remember the name of the term, but he's one of those like I'm also straight up immortal, like can be destroyed but doesn't matter kind of issues. Um, and there's a depiction of him like walking through the warp to get back to the Emperor, and his body just keeps getting like immolated and put back together. Not a happy time. I don't have to worry too much about that because that's inside the shin. Look at that. Here's a little bit. If you hear screaming in the background, it's just my surly child. She's a prima donna. It's awesome. She's like a year and a couple months old. And she gets so mad. She's basically just got like, I'm either really excited because I'm engaged in something fun, or she's just mad. Two speeds. Easy peasy. Alright, let's get this thing together. Another shin guard, which I'm guessing goes like that. Ow! That is a lot sharper than it looks. That is mad sharp. That legit hurt. Love it. Nothing better than dangerous models. Alrighty. Moving right along. Blop. That hurts a little bit to push in, but we're doing it. Alright, that's like 2. And then the 15 and 17. I'll wait on that. 10 and 9. 10 is like a weird knob. No, 10's a piece of cloth. A long piece of cloth. I think it's on this guy. Man, this model is that cool. What a treat. What a treat. Oh, I did like to think that the Alpha Legion is Alpha Legion's weird. They do come up in the end and the death specifically, and man, I do not get them, and I know that they're supposed to be enigmatic, and that's cool. So I don't feel bad that I don't really understand them, but they're weird. The whole I am Spartacus sort of thing is, I think, interesting. I like the idea of a whole faction that's so like deep cover and screwed up that it's impossible to know where any one of them stand, sort of, except that in the end of the death, you sort of get to know one of them a little bit. But it's always pretty hazy. Yeah, I need to read about the Alpha Legion. I don't get them. Not one bit. That piece looks good. More snippy, snippy. I did pick up, and it just arrived today, my golf rocker model for October. So I'm not worried. Like, if I do need to take a break from Mortarion, I do have to finish that thing in October. Yeah, so it's just sitting on Amazon. It was totally available. Excellent recommendation because the thing looks sick. But yeah, it was just a totally easy find. It was just waiting for me, and that will be a very fun little diversion. Um, it's funny because my shelf next to me is like all just laden with Death Guard stuff, but it does have, I don't remember where I tossed them. Yeah, there's two of these practicey guys, which are, I don't know, Sigmar stuff or whatever, and one Ultramarine hanging out. But the idea of having Goff sitting up on, like, I don't know, he could probably sit on my Plague Burst crawler, just chill out up there, and then have Trazen in the corner looking on. Those are excellent additions. My Trazen's on the way too. I finally barfed out the video that I've been spinning around in my head for quite a while, regarding the infinite and the divine. That took way longer for me to do than it ever should have, but it's fine. I'm pleased with it. Um, I need to read that book again. In going through putting the video together, I realized just how much I liked that book. So I went back and just like was trying to somewhat make sure 17 and 15. Somewhat make sure I had my facts correct because I've been pushing forward reading other stuff, and you get to these little passages and there's just so many good little bits in there. Like one of the lines that I did throw into the actual video was a point where Orican is like, I hope you brought an army, and Trazen's like, buddy, brought 5. Like, really good line. There's just hilarious moments in it. There's the whole point where they're on this planet, like doing research, trying to find this vault forever. Whole societies come and go. And at one point, they help fight off some orcs, and then like I think it's hundreds of years later, they're like there's like a stained glass window in some government building depicting a couple, I mean, essentially Necrons, but they described it like the locals thought they were just like space marines that had weird armor and skulls on their helms. Totally mistaken them for space marines. They had this stained glass window, like honoring Trazen and Orican, which Trazen loves. Orican not so much, but that's just how he is. I'm not too worried about that. That's going on the inside. Okay, this is going on a leg. This was 1, 2, 3. Bolt is that leg. All right, so those 2 holes apply to these 2 things, I think, and then that fits in there. Oh my God, it makes sense. When the parts are this big, everything kind of makes sense. I know I'm going to eat those words later. Something's actually going to be really hard, but right now, this model's not bad. Either that or they lull you into a false sense of security while you're building it, and then it's the actual painting it that breaks your spirit entirely. That fits on there really nice. And then this thing just goes straight up, just goes on the kneecap. don't even know why they make you do that. It could have just been part of the mold, but you know what? That's the pleasure of building stuff. This video looks dark. Am I missing a light? Or am I just going blind? It might be so bright where I'm staring down at that when I look up at my monitor, I'm just like, oop, can't see anything. You zoink. In you go. Perfect fit. Alrighty. So then, this goes into this, I think. Nice dry fit to be sure, and then this goes on that, and he's, yeah. Man, this dude is huge. This guy's massive. There's Typhus, and there's your boy's leg. Okay, let's get this glue on. Can I handle that? Yeah, I can get it in. That's not a problem. There's even a little special divot. It matches up to another part of the bottle. That's great. I have tomorrow off from work, which is a nice treat. I think in Canada it's a holiday as well. Might actually be in Brazil. It's a huge nugget that I just missed over there. Sand that down. That is visible. That is crazy visible. Gently. I have a whole another day to do chores. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, Thanksgiving for you guys. That's right. It is fun working for an exceedingly global company because everyone doesn't have the same holidays, which is kind of cool. So, if you care about other people's cultures, you kind of learn a little bit as you go. Because people on your team are going to be gone some days. I learned a lot about Brazilian holidays, a lot about Canadian ones, though working with folks from Canada has been a little bit more common over the years, even before the pandemic. There are a lot of video game studios in Canada, but Brazil, Romania, Portugal, I think we've got some people in Spain. There we go. Look at that. This is going to be so much fun to paint. There's another little nubbin. Get a little more sand on this guy. Try to round out that kneecap. Man, these sanding twigs are just a godsend. They really, I mean, they're soft and squishy. They're thin. They bend. They respond really well to pressure. And when you get a batch of them, they're all different grittinesses. So normally you'll see I'm using a yellow one, which is a little bit stronger, but I'm terrified of wrecking this model. So this is like super fine. Look at that, that's good. And yes, happy Thanksgiving. Ahead of time, but okay. Hit some tea. I think I'm gonna barbecue something tomorrow. I don't know what yet, but I do have all kinds of neat things in my chest freezer. Chest freezers, I actually have more than one of them. There's actually 3 in my house right now. My brother-in-law's got one in my garage. 13 and 18. 18. Can't even tell what that thing is. What are you, 18? I'm going to find out. I got to find a big slab of meat. It's also coming to that magic time of year. You know, Thanksgiving's still a month and a half away here, but every Thanksgiving, the pro move out here is you go to the grocery store the day after, you buy a bunch of turkeys, and if you have a chest freezer, you have a place to put them. You can get a nice turkey for like 59 cents a pound. If you got space for it, whew, it's good living. You'll just whip out a turkey every once in a while and get so many meals out of a whole turkey. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually, you have to wipe some of that down. What I'll do with bonus turkeys is, let's get you in that notch. There you go, buddy. What I'll do with the bonus turkeys, I'll cut them in half. I'll just saw right down it. It's like a 20-pound turkey, pretty big for not Thanksgiving. Pretty massive. There we go. Those legs. Look at those. So I'll just saw it down, shrink, vacuum seal both halves of the turkey. And whenever I feel like it, pull a half turkey out of the deep freeze. Do that with hams around Christmas too. Get a little bit of this off of here. So yeah, this model, as far as building it, not intimidating once you get started. A lot of really well thought out pieces, at least so far. Snip or doodle around there. Give a snip there. A lot of things that click into place nicely. Alrighty, this is, if I'm doing this right, this is weird. Is that how you fit? Mm-hmm. Let's rattle this guy around until he actually clicks into place. I mean, the picture does show basically gluing across these guys. Look, they should just, they do. There is a place for them to settle. Wow, that just goes out further than I thought. Okay, once again, good job, model. Good job. You do make sense. Thank heavens. All right. This piece, I gotta hold this guy a little bit. Now the question is, on this next step, they're like, hey, drape all this crazy stuff on it. I don't think I want to do that. I did see a video, like straight up, Games Workshop video, where they basically just put them all together except for the wings and the wisps that went out his back. I don't think I can drive around all the parts that well. And it was the thin your paints guy, so like he's a straight up pro. I think I got to be a little more careful than that. All right, so we've got some grenades, which I'm guessing go right on that little nubbin. They do. Grenades, part 19. Part 19. It's a couple of grenades. It's definitely not a couple of grenades. Also just eyeball my other, yeah, there we go. Yep, 19. I did not make it out to a local game store this weekend. yet. TM. I may try to get out tomorrow. Not sure if they'll be open. Mom and pop place, but I do need to start casing places for where I want to meet people that both war and hammer. And the actual Games Workshop place that I've been to, not too shabby. Do have to make it back there at some point because I got that magazine that they give you when you first start. It's not a magazine, but I mean, it looks like a magazine. But it's got all these little quests to do. So, like, get a piece of terrain, paint it, like, get your warlord, paint that up, all this different stuff. And I'm basically like that far away from 2,000 point army. So I got to show in there, collect my stuff. All right, these grenades. Oh my god, they're so good. Yeah, it does. It fits perfectly. Good job, model. Good job. All right, so this looks like a reasonably manageable singular piece. Looks good. Like, legs, it's not the whole torso, it's just the sort of abs piece, I guess. Guess that's what you call it. Not a chest piece. His arms are going to come flying out of there. A nice pose. I do got to sand that a little down. But this is a nice manageable size where I'll probably set that aside for sub-assembly and then start working on it, all this drapery stuff. But I have to imagine, even though I've seen videos of them putting it together or painting it mostly together, I got to imagine it's better to just leave some stuff apart. I don't want to have those regrets midway through it. There's 20. I have to put this on a very high shelf where my kitten will not attack it. I've been pretty good keeping that cat out of here. But every once in a while, it's a black cat. He's very sneaky and wicked small. Every once in a while, I find one of my like painting sponges like on the other side of the house. I'm like, oof, I know where that came from. There you go, pull up. All right, so that's a huge piece of drape stuff. Wow, look at that. That's probably where one of his arms goes through. That's pretty smart. All right, so I will clean this guy up, but before doing that, I'm going to clean him up, but I'm going to put this whole drape together, which has some of the like Death Guard toot-toots, things that spit gas out, and this is just a bunch of ethereal energy on the bottom of it. Get this guy cleaned up. Go. One more snip. Just a little baby one. Cool model. This one is much easier. Not that the Night Tyrant was difficult per se, but this one has like been markedly easy. Or at least it's helpful. It's not trying to make my life difficult, which is good. I like easy life. Whoop, don't scratch him. Scratch record. Nice and flat. All right. This is super fine. Okay, so that was 20. I need 21. 21 on this one. Man, his gun really is wild looking. It's a revolver. It's like a plasma revolver. Okay, 21. gather my bits. 22 and 23. These are small wispy things. There's 23. And there should be another small wispy thing somewhere on here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not. Huh, that's weird. It doesn't look like a wispy thing, but it is. Oh, I saw it and then I lost it. Curse these eyes. No, that's 43. Man, this must be fun watching a blind man put a model together on a stream, let me tell you. Can't find the parts. I'm really at a loss. 72. Maybe it's this one. Don't think it is. Well, we'll just get started and then my eyes will refresh themselves. And then it'll magically appear. Do, 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 do. That looks pretty good. Just get those weird pieces off. Yes, Chaos Mage. That is well played. I tip my cap to you. That's the cat where it is. True story. Well done, man. You win the prize this time. That was funny. Cat is adorable. I love him. But he's absolutely in that, like, just a few months old phase where everything's a toy. He got up on the counter earlier today, knocked over my wife's favorite cup, which is like a Pusheen-corn glass, which they don't make anymore. That was kind of sad. And then of course it was a glass full of water. It's broken glass, water everywhere. And the thing is, like, got little kids, so I gotta tell everyone to, like, don't go in the kitchen for a while. Cleaning it all up. It was sad. It was a really cool glass. But cat's gonna do cat things, and you just gotta keep stuff out of their way. Alrighty, so pretty sure I'm right that this is R.I.P. glass. You got it. I searched for like an hour today to see if I could find a replacement for it, but I think it's like limited edition. Like I think they do some. I think Pusheen, only mildly familiar with because my wife and my daughter are all about it. Adorable cat stuff. I think they do like yearly things where like here's the glass this year, here's the mug that year, and the actual like Pusheen-corn one couldn't find the glass again, but I did find a couple mugs, and my wife's birthday's coming up, so I ordered them. Alrighty, so this tiny little nugget of a wisp I think just goes on the bottom of this. Let's see how we'll orient that. Look at the picture. It looks like it goes. Oh, God, this doesn't make any sense. Or does it? Do I just not see how it's supposed to come together? If I just keep rolling it around, eventually things will match up. I think that's how it looks now. Absolutely not. Absolutely not how it goes. So that's the base. This is actually, oh, there it is. Found it. All right. Don't lose sight of that. That's okay. Good. It makes sense. The part that I thought went on here actually faces down. Now that makes a heck of a lot more sense. It's flat on this one side, but that's what's going to get pressed down. Now that I understand that, I am free to glue this guy in. This is going to have to be held for a bit. Yeah, that's not a lot of contacts. Good, 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 good. Just gently hold it. But yeah, that cat gets around. They were packed up in a package, but I have a bunch of little sponge like this, and yeah, there's cat hair in it now, of course. But you just like snip a piece off, hold it with tweezers, and you can paint with it. It's like 6 different varieties of different Swiss cheesiness, and they're gone. All right, a little nudge, a little love tap. So if I was to put this together like they say, it sounds insane to me. This would, how would this even line up? Oh, I see 2 little dots. It would line up like that. It would line up perfectly like that because this model's dope. However, getting in there and painting all that, well, I mean, all of that is just open because it's going to be behind here. Maybe it's not as terrible as I think it is to paint this thing. Those would be famous last words. I mean, once you glue it, you're going. But that does look like all stuff I can get to with like super ease. Yeah, Zinch cat. All right, I am going to glue this part on. I feel pretty good about it. I am going to glue this on. And I have taken enough of a look at it. I don't need to leave this part separate at all. Just going to spin it around, see which dots hit. And we'll go for it. Glue, 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 glue. Glue, 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 glue. Glue. Alrighty. Oop. Oh, you fit perfectly a minute ago, buddy. No, you don't fit perfectly. Where were the dots? Where were the dots? No. There is absolutely a seam I'm looking for. That goes in, that goes in, that goes in. There we go. Man, he made sense for like 5 minutes. And then as soon as I put the glue on, he's like, yep, I don't make sense anymore. It's all good. All right. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Pretty solid. Now while I'm here, now that he's in and I can see this, give this a little snip here. Snipperdoodle. There we go. Another one up here, just a little bit more off of there. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be better than I normally do it. He is big, and it's easy to lose sight of the fact that all the details are bigger details. All right. Where does this chain go? Well, I'll find 26 first. That one should be easy. Bam, it is easy. Here we go. Plenty of interesting details on this piece. Can be sanded. That can be sanded. So we'll sand it. Thankfully, the cat is attacking me less while I sleep these days. He's actually getting some sleep when the rest of us sleep. Hasn't been waking the baby up too much. Knock on wood. Gonna have his first Halloween, which means everyone's gonna take 8 million pictures of him because he's a black cat on Halloween. All right, so this, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? It's just, huh. Oops, there we go. This literally just pops right in there. Who'd have thunk it? Great. That's a lot of glue. Wipe some of that off. Pop that right in. Perfect. So I push too hard and then it's not perfect. Let you sit there for a second, buddy. Find 25. It's our first piece of chain stuff. Chainy chain stuff. 25. It must be a pain to transport this guy around. Funny enough, I should probably think about ordering a case to move all my stuff around in because I have no idea how I would transport this crap. Safely, at least. A lot of hardware now. It's right between the spikes. Good job, Twig. Good job. And that's in there good. This piece. Piece don't make no sense. Does it go in the back? Oh my gosh, it does. It does. There's a perfect little place that it doesn't fit very well right now because of the piece that's in front of it. Oh, that's a shame. It does not want to get in there right. All right. If I were to put this in first, it would fit. So you got to take a breather there, buddy. That was a weird order of operations thing that hopefully won't be too screwed up when I get back to it. Should have dry fit the whole step, but I didn't. All right, so this then goes in like that. This is a weird piece. This is precarious at best. And then, in theory, though this is going to need more glue, then in theory this should just sit right here. And man, does it not. Unless it goes over it. Oh my god, does it go? It does go over it. Ooh, 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 ooh. This model is getting to its first little weird spot. Which is fine, because I've gotten this far without it getting too crazy. Now we gotta hold this thing in place. Ugh. I don't like this at all now. There we go. There we go. It is really hard to tell how this thing is supposed to, how it feels like it's supposed to sit. All right, I've pressed it. I think I'm just gonna let him meditate like that. Everything finally hit this weird moment where it's like, ugh. And I can let him meditate because I have the other side of this to do. Actually, that's the other side of it. So I might as well do that while that guy sits. And man, I hope the other half of this thing fits seamlessly. I'm looking for 28 and I have found it. So this is the first sort of step I've bumped into here that was a little bit sketchy. Not too bad, but it was not as what you see is what you get as the rest of it was. All right, let's do some cleanup. Which I guess makes sense once you try to put two halves of the model together. Anything that's a little off, where it's going to get squirrely, but like those two pieces being put on in the same step just seemed weird. Like it definitely wasn't one of those cases where you glue something on, you let it sit for a minute, and then it forms the shape that the next step does. It wasn't like that at all. It was like, put these two here, and they really don't want to go together. Whatevs. If Mortarion doesn't play nice, I'll just green stuff the daylights out of them. I ordered a bunch of eyes. 6mm? I think they're 6mm eyes. I think I got some 4s too. Decided I wanted to attach eyes to more things. I'm not going to put any extra eyes on Mortarion. But they're good to have for a Death Guard army. I always think of, was it Slurt? The Lords of Silence? The guy whose real eyes didn't work. They were just all oozed out, but he had a bunch of other eyes under his skin. It all like twitched around. And he could see corruption. I think it was Slurt. He was their like sort of apothecary, in quotes. All right, so let's see. 29, I'm guessing is on here. A super good book. The Lord of Silence. I had to explain to a coworker the other day that like it's like 3 hours of footage online of me nerding out to a book about a faction in a game that I play. It's like, what do you talk about for 3 hours? Like, oh my god, they have the ship. It's crazy. I didn't even once think to like pictures 1,000 words it and be like, why don't you just go to this link and figure it out? There we go. Clean this guy up. This is very much the other end of this. It's not symmetrical. Well, symmetrical in terms of parts. This should, in theory, just happily want to go in there. It does. It does. And that piece, I don't have to sand too much because it's hidden. Good, good, good. All right. Nice solid fit. I can leave that to just meditate for a second while I find number 30. 30 is a very wispy, curly thing on the front of the model. It's like where the cloak wisps up, and I have found it. I think the thing is with this model, there's like a technique that's like ultra important. It's going to be blending. I'll glue this on and then I'll do show and tell why I think that. But um, the wings all blending on the wings. But then the weird tattered cloaky stuff, once again, all blending. Like if you do that all the same color, I'm guessing it looks pretty not great. Let's put it that way. Monotonous. I'm gonna have to learn to blend better. It's part of the reason I got a bunch of light paints, because I don't blend much. A, B, everything I do is so grim and dark that I can't really tell. So this will be a good lesson. Oh, those stitches actually go together. Ha! You can see those. I don't know how good the footage is on your end while I'm streaming it, but it's literally the stitches fit well. Will do, Lizard. Will do. And it should only take me, I don't know how long. It's gonna take me forever to paint it, so I'm sure you'll get to see some of that too. Have a great night. Getting all in there. All right. Yep. And that is well done. And it's got a bunch of little nubs on the bottom for where he's going to sit on the base, or the stuff that goes on the base, however that works. I mean, I'd say 90% of this model's been smooth. No scary moments. It's not like my Plague Marine champions where every last one of them I was like pulling them apart while the plastic was already getting smushy, just clipping pins later. You have behaved well as a model. Now, the big question is, does this actually fit together? Or is my sinking feeling right and this thing is a little problematic? Yeah, that's terrible. I might need to vice that thing. This piece right here is the culprit. All right, well, you are going together whether you like it or not, buddy. Everything else fits well, but these two pieces that I did in that last step, they're not happy. Here we go. It's this spinal thing and then this front guy. Like a yawning gap there. You know what? He's not even on there well. He's gonna need more glue. Guess what? You're fired. You are out of this. I'm thinking, yeah, this is the order that it should be in. I'll get this together, and then I'll put him on. That is the sane way to do things. Just get a little dab on here between these guys. Yep, I need a little bit on this seam. Alrighty. we're just going to hold it reasonably tight. Then we'll get this other dumb piece on there. This guy is massive. I know I keep saying that, but genuinely, it's huge. It's going to be really cool having this dude standing on the table. The Night Tyrant. Like Tango and Cash. I have a sinking feeling my army is very suboptimal for winning, but it's going to be a hoot to be the villain in someone else's story. All right, that's on there good enough. This then goes. Oh, it fits very mediocrely. All right. But it's better now that these other parts are in. So I got that going for me. It really should never have been in that step, but it tells you to do it. Never should have. Away we go. Away we go. I might be here for a minute holding it this way while the glue melts everything. I do have to hold it pretty hard, which is not a great feeling. Don't want to have to hold it this hard, but I think I'm going to have gaps if I don't. Everything's gentle. Just keep it calm. There we go. It's not the coolest gap. I'm hoping his cloak goes over that. It is not 100% to my liking. I'm going to skip ahead a step and note that all of this stuff that it's telling me to do right here is auxiliary. It's all a bunch of, yeah, it's not main components. It's like 31 and 32. Scooch that so you can see that. Those are just chains with sensors. Don't need to do those now. 24. Scoot this back. Chains and sensors. That tube doesn't need to happen. Does not need to happen. What we do have right now is his whole lower body all the way to his spine. If I'm correct, yeah, even this is another drape of cloth, a bunch of extra parts that I'll probably accidentally break, but I don't want to paint around at all. But then it's his wings. And then I can skip ahead to his arms. Man, that's a tough call. Tough call. Let me see if he's on, if he looks both ways on the box. Be smart if they did it. They didn't do it. So scythe in right hand, gun in left. Gun in right hand, scythe in left. Tough call. It's a tough call. I mean, obviously this picture shows them, but seeing them painted does make a difference. All right, so depending, doing the green or the blue. Well, green's a neutral color. I like the idea of him sort of somewhat staring down the barrel. I will do that. It is telling me now that I want to be here. Whoa. There's all this variance going on. I don't even remember what that means. I think it says you got optional crap to do. Neat. All right, well, I can, and so I will put his head together. Is his head any different? His head's no different on both sides. It is different. His rebreather is different based on his arm configuration. That's a gotcha. 56, 58. Man, that is a twist, a plot twist. It's like his... I wonder why that is. 56. Maybe his head doesn't have space because of the shoulders a certain way? I don't know. We're going to do it by the books, though. So that was 56. We need 58, which is a rebreather piece. 6. 8. Alright, I don't know if this will show up all that well on camera. It's probably going to get blurry. Maybe I could show it over here. That's a terrible idea. Alright, so he has two faces. And depending on his gun situation, you pick one face or the other. Very strange. I'm not going to argue with it. The difference is subtle. It looks like in this one, one of his eyes is squinting. It's like he's looking down the barrel. That's the difference between the two heads. If he's got his scythe forward, both of his eyes are open. If he's got the gun forward, he's like, I'm aiming. At least I think. From here, that's what I'm seeing. That is wild. And of course, now I got a bonus Mortarion face, which I can put on anything. Put it on a Poxwalker. A huge tiki mask. Oh yeah, you do not want to clip out of here at all, buddy. Sure, we'll put the sprue attachment on these tiny little spikes. Alright, just keep it mellow. Yeah, that's a crazy, crazy little attention to detail moment that if you put the gun in his front hand, he's squinting his eye like he's aiming. Weird. Cool, I guess, though. Don't need to sand it like crazy, just to get that burr off of there. Alright. This guy is looking kind of okay. He didn't come off too bad. And then in theory, this just goes in. And I said in theory. Yeah, it does. It snaps right in there. Okay. No worries there. Let's just get it done. In you go. Perfect fit. Nice. All right, so now we'll get 59, which is this long draping thing that goes over it. It's gotta be that guy. Do some cleanup. So that was our first real A-B split on how he's built, and I think that's the only major one. This is weapon alignment. I think it'll be fun with the gun out front. You know what's funny is I've spent so much time going, I'm probably never building Mortarion because I'm scared of him. Not his character, but the complexity of the model. I don't know all that much about what he does on his sheet. Like I know he lets folks around him ignore modifiers, but like I don't even know if his gun's any good. Not even sure. I should look it up. I've sort of just left him out of sight, out of mind. Now I got him. Now I'm building him, so it's happening. All right, this drapey thing theoretically fits right in like it's made to. Oh, it does. Oh, you nice. You nice. All right, so we get a nice little seam of glue, gently, a few little taps, one long tap. Don't get any on his face. And this goes right in. I need to get a little more down here. Here we go. Just so that that piece of fabric, yeah, continues and gets a nice bond. Whew. I need a bin. Gentle, gentle bin that'll fit all of these parts. But I'm pretty sure I am painting this whole section. God, I hope it's not that dark for you guys. This whole section gets painted by itself. The wings will be their own special project. That looks pretty nice. That's a cool looking dude. Let's see if I can get this a little bit more lit up. Now is rebreather. 46. 46, 46, 46. 46. 66. 43. Am I looking for the wrong piece? Where are you? 64. 6. 6. 44. 7. Sure. It's like two little. There you go. Oh, that one's 60, but I need something that looks almost exactly like it. Almost exactly like it, but somewhere else. I wonder if that one's mislabeled. Let me see what it was on the other side. Scoot you, don't want to hurt you, buddy. All right, so 60 on this side. I bet you I could use 46 and 60 interchangeably. I don't want to call any audibles on this model. And if I had to guess, that would be left and right hoses. No. They look identical. They look absolutely identical. I don't know why I'm so lost. Well, I will snip it out and see how well it does fit. And if it fits fine, I'll use it. And if it doesn't, I'll just keep searching for 46. But I genuinely think there's not a 46 on this sprue at this point. Or the picture's a little weird because these things look identical. 49. All right. Tally ho. This goes right on his mouth. That's where he gets all his great, delicious mist from. This goes right. Oh, yeah. It's like a. Seems like a pretty decent fit. Yep, it is. It's a pretty decent fit. Good job, guys. In that hole. Right in that hole. No spillage. He's just boop right in and settles there. That is a big rebreather. Good job, buddy. So he's looking styly. He is looking styly. Just let him sit like this for a second. All right, his head is together. 46. That's weird. It's acting like his arm should already be on there, and it definitely wouldn't be. Oh, that would be blue. Okay. Deadly pistolier arm. All right, I could set that head aside. I need to put the scythe together. Got a weird maple leaf. Yeah, it can't be right. It looks like it's missing a step. This is gun arm. Oh, there it is. Ha! It was in front of me. All right, 45, 51. At least I think I'm right. Doesn't have his shoulder. I need to find his shoulder. Where is the shoulder stuff? Ah, it's because his shoulder was before things deviated. That now makes good sense. 41 and 40. Guessing you guys are over here. So that shoulder is always the same. That's forearm. Alright, so this model does have a few little twists and turns. Nothing crazy. But things to be mindful of. 41. Nice and gentle in there. And 40? 40 is a big spiky arm thing. 40's on this sprue. Alright, yeah, that looks gnarly. This one needs some cleanup for sure. Just get, yeah, I always run my finger over it to really see how much of it is sticking up, and that one's sticking up a lot. That one's okay. That one needs help. That one's not bad. Alrighty. so that's nice and clean. This guy needs a little bit of help. There we go. Yeah, I was at a loss later, but as I was flipping through those pages going, yeah, I don't need to do this part now. The very last step before I moved to where it branched is that missing arm. So you do need to do this spot. Alright, so this, in theory, just gets slapped together. Let's see, orient them the way they are in the picture. They should just fit nicely, just like that. Alright, see where they overlap, and that's where we're gluing. Alright, just hold that for a bit. And they say, man, those wings are only attached by the tiniest little. Look at that. Those wings are just attached there and there. That is. That is some scary business. Like that dot and the one. Oh my God, you guys are savages. Savages. Well, that part's going to be. Thankfully, I'm not doing that till after this thing's painted, but that sounds spooky. In that case, this would go. Arm would be back, or it would go. If I snip those cables, wow, you could mess with these arms a lot if you felt like it. You'd have to snip some stuff off, but they do fit in interesting ways. So his arm going back is just, how much do I have to push it on there? That's scary. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so when I push it on, it is somewhat braced. Oh, okay. It pops over that thing. That's a good fit. Yeah, that's a good fit. Just gently take that off of there. We can glue that right now. That's not a bad fit. It's just a little non-obvious. Or I'm a little dumb. Little column A, little column B. All right. So this goes. Boop. If you make that boop sound, everything fits a lot better too. Oh yeah, that saddles in there nicely. Good. I'm guessing Brony's head just goes right on there. Lo and behold. Of course, that piece back here still being a jerk. Might have to file this down. It does not want to fit because that maybe I don't think I did anything wrong there. I know everyone wants to say that it wasn't their fault, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything wrong there. It's supposed to be a little bit of a gap. Right now, his hood is not fitting in there. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take a tiny snippet off of it. See if I can get away with things. Use the file instead. Alright, so I snipped the tiniest amount off the back of this hood, and I may need to shave it just a little bit so that it can mind the gap. Alright. Of course, I don't need to put the head on yet. Now that I'm concerned about it, yeah, that just about does it. I may take a couple more little shaves off of it. We're good. We're good. We're back in business. We're back in business. All right. Now he's got his arm attached. We've got scythe business. to do. All right, 45, 51's obvious. 45 is pretty obvious too. What a neat looking scythe. Totally impractical. It's I don't think I ever noticed that it was actually chainsaw-ish on the very end of it. I always thought it was just spiky, but it's definitely like a chain blade just on the tip of it. Just to sort of insult whoever you're killing with it. It's not the long part of the blade that you actually scythe with. It's just to keep people from getting stuck on the end, having to shake them off. Come on, buddy. There you go. Out you go. And 52, which is just a nubbin. Easier for me to read the numbers if it was flipped right side up. Oh. Let's see here. 52, 52. There it is, magic 52. It's not that weird piece, that's 6. No, 57 is a face. 68 is not it. 72. Weird. Weird. Another case of the cat stealing the part I can't find. What are you trying to be? It looks like a little sort of skullish with a hook. Who knows? I'll catch up to it later. I know it's on the side. I know I have to clean these boys up. Alrighty. So. Clean up. Everybody do your part. It is interesting because like this stream's gonna be totally anticlimactic because I'm not putting them all the way together. It's gonna be like eventually I'll be like, oh, I'm done. But it's good. This will get me to the point that I can just pick up a piece and paint at will. So I figured out how I'm gonna paint them. I think probably later tonight I'll just do a decent amount of research, settle on something. There we go. That's good. That, no, that's unhappy. There we go. Smooth that guy over. There we go. Get that little nubbin out of there. There we go. Super careful. You gotta be careful not to take that spike down with it. There we go. Got it. Not too many burrs on this thing. Cleaned up, except for there. I don't think I'm getting in there. All right. So, big long stick. I know you're right. It's there. It's there. Those two go together, and then the mystery 52 nubbin is what goes in that hole. So I can do that next. put these guys together, let them sit for a second, and then find the mystery piece 52. Handle that next. That slid right in there, no problem. That was meant to be. Don't want my fingers stuck to it though. All right. The quest is on. It's a nurgling. Piece of cloth. Hold it this way. 52. Found it. I just needed to flip this thing around. A little scepter nugget. Death's head. Jammy jam. It's kind of funny how, especially when you're tired at the end of the day, your eyes just trail off and you stop seeing things, and then you put something down and pick it back up again. You're like, oh, there it is. No problem. Easy peasy. Alright, so if I orient this the way it was, the skull goes down, face down. And I don't want to put this in there crooked, have them go through all this work and then have this like absolutely jacked up part on the sides. Don't want to do that. Okay, that does fit smartly. When you get to old piece 52, you just got to wiggle a little bit and eventually it locks in. I got a cross guard. I can't tell. It's like a little skull that looks down at the blade. That's so cute. Just minding his biz. All right, so when that dries, I'm correct. There's no way that it goes like that. There's no way it does. His hand's got to be on here somewhere. It is. How is that even possible? Oh my god. This whole branch piece behind? That is daft. That is daft. It's crazy. All right. You guys want to be like that? Make everything complicated. Go for it. All right. I'm going to set that aside. We're going to put together ye old Biggie Shooty. He has a rad gun. And we're putting it together. 61 and 62. That's 48. 61. 61. Guessing you are on the other side. Funny that would be the branch arm and hand if he was holding it the other way. 62. I feel like with the big models you get pose options that are so drastic in terms of duplicating pieces that, like, between Mortarion and this Knight Tyrant, I could probably make a small little tank. Guessing I could. Like, you get a whole spare carapace. Because they don't want to let you swap the weapons. It's weird. Weird Games Workshop. But I know you got your reasons. At least I hope you do. Not all nonsense. Alright. We are zeroing in. Do a little bit of filing. Styling and profiling. Oh, it's another spiky bit. wonder if people that only play good guy faction, quote unquote, in 40k good guy faction armies ever understand just how painful grabbing these models to paint them is. Like legit, yeah, there's the spikes. Knew you guys were back there. Like I drew blood on the meat wagon. Maybe that was just meant to be. It's like prophetic. You can get hurt. It doesn't seem like it. Okay, so these just fit naturally. I gotta trim this thing down though. Man, that's a burr. If ever I saw one. Get in there with the yellow sander. Means I mean business. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so you come together just like that. Make sure I got a good visual on it. There we go. Alright. Oh, this is going to be a part of the night where the glue doesn't want to come out anymore. Could be. Could be. I have to flame it again. Oh, there we go. Of course, it's a pile now. Squeeze that heavily. It's going to start coming out. All right. I got to get around this too. I knew there was more to this. All right, there we go. This one's going to be a wet seam, but it'll be fine. Doink, doink. Not much squeezing out the front. Good job. Do I have to hold this guy long? I don't. Good. He can sit there. So I've got a size. Yeah, good job. Good job. Now I need a gun. Gun, 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 gun. I'm not going to worry about all the auxiliary tubes that are off of it. All this little tube stuff, I'll paint that stuff separately and apply it at the end because I don't want to be jabbing around things with a brush trying to find my way through. Okay. However, 53, I am going to put on there because I remember you, 53. You look like sort of like a maple leaf, but you're actually the tricorner Nurgle symbol. You are an important little piece, so I will do you now. And you just fit flat on here, don't you? You just sit right on the face. Kidding me? That fits nicely. All right, clean them up first, but here we go. Very careful on the tips of these little spiky things because they're very easy to just clip off on their own. All right. You can't be that simple. You are that simple. You fit well. All right, so that just gets glued straight on. Doesn't have a divot. You just lay it on there and push. How novel. How novel. It's nice and centered. I can leave that to sit again. Well, I can't really because I got glue all over the place. There we go. As long as you clean it up quick, you're okay. I can always get in there with a metal tool a little bit later and sort of smush things around a bit so that they play nice. There we go. Saved. All right, now it's gun time. Oh, I'm going to stretch out. Wow. Have some tea. Click a few things. Bam. Good. Put the lid on this guy. Oh yeah, it's still early. Sweet. My eyes are dried out, but I'm not particularly tired, which is good. I'll keep my wits about me. I'm wondering how much of the base I can put together without having have him go on it. Well, I'm gonna see about getting through this gun. When I get through this gun, I get his other arm on. At least his other arm put together. Like it may make sense for me to just stop at like boom right there, so I don't have the scythe all over the place. I can do this scythe separately. I can do this head separately. I can get this other arm on. And that seems like a pretty decent place to like chill out and then think about priming him. And clip the wings off eventually and get those going. Which, yeah, the gun's over here. Sweet. All right. Gun is over here. Make sure all my parts are already built or off to the side. I'm absolutely tempted to just add so many nerdlings to this model. Like, buy a couple sets of them, just piling up underneath. It would be fitting. Do you have two? Built twice? Yeah, geez, it shows up with two guns. Because left hand, right hand. That part makes sense. That should not have been a surprise. All right, so this hand is 65, 66, 67. Five, 67. Five, 66. 66 is like a couple of little tiny tubes. Which I think are the barrel. Yeah, they're the barrels that go inside that waffly looking piece. 66. Two barrels. Found them. You weren't that challenging. Interesting. He has a different two barrels if he wields it in his other hand. That part I don't get. But, you know, model stuff. Alrighty. So just a little bit of cleanup once again. Always just look at these bits for different burrs that are sticking out. This guy's in pretty decent shape. He clips pretty nicely, buddy. This guy, he's got a little, oh, he's got the little fly dangly thing. Which means he put that little piece of flare on there after he joined up with Nurgle. I'm pretty sure it means that, because I think he had this gun before he became a traitor. So he became this big, tough demon and put a little bit of flare on the end of his gun. What a dork. I love him. Alright, so gun goes together thusly. This. Oh. Yeah, his gun's got little like rebreather things on it. That's kind of cool. I dig that. Alright. That's straightforward. It just gets glued on the back. And then the other cage piece just goes straight over it. It does nicely too. Okay, good. Good job. Well designed. Easy peasy. Yep, and it slides right there under the sight. That's good. Don't squeeze too hard though, because that's a hollow piece. All right, guns together. gun just goes in hand, or hand attaches here. You fit nicely? You gonna fit nicely for me? Yep, you are. Yeah. All right, so this can go straight on. We'll wait a second before I try to attach the actual arm onto here. So I think I'm gonna leave the size. I'm gonna leave the side off. Ouch, spiky. You sit up like this? No, you won't. No, you won't. That would be too easy. The gun arm's cool like this. Case, I think it's telling me that I have to put his head on first for his gun. Yeah, because his gun goes over. That would be a massive mistake if I had made that up. I suppose I could still make it work. So the arm, the way it goes onto here, as I jangle the thing around, struggling. This gun's probably still soft. So the way that arm goes, attached there, this piece of hose goes on the front there. Which is like this. And then in order to get his thing, yeah, I suppose I could have forced it. Nope, you don't. All right, so I'm guessing that this little drapery, the reason it's got that hook there, for it to hook around this tube so everything's all nice and close. So that's part of the reason his head's different as well. So I need to put his head on right now, which I am going to do, which it will just lock in like that. It's convenient. There's a chin rest. It's not really a chin rest, but there's a little rest in there for his head, so he'll be in there nice. Do that. Do this. Little dab there. Little dab there. And Mortarion. Paisano. Oh, and his head fell off. Am I missing a glue spot? I don't think so. I think it's just got a little gap in there. So we'll keep pushing. So you can see that little hook on that drapery. And that's why for this version of him, with the gun in his right hand, I am getting the shaky hands. If you notice, it's getting late, getting the shakes. All right, we're going to stop messing around with this. We're going to get his head to actually stick. Needs more glue. All right, that should do it. And if I'm diligent about it, I'm just going to hold it on. I could feel myself starting to rush. My back hurts a little bit. I just need to take a deep breath, slow down, baby. Leave him there for a second, sip some tea, have a puff or two. Oh, I'll stretch my back out. This is a wicked cool model. Wicked cool. So as far as colors go, like all the sensors, all the edging is going to get, excuse me, that'll get warp lock bronze. The weapons and chains and mail, that'll all get lead belcher. I don't think I'm going to rust up all that much on here. If anything, I probably won't. They're kind of pretty looking shiny. I don't know how much color I'm going to throw on those wings. I'm curious if there's no green on his armor. I wonder if green would look okay. Not orc green, but just a light amount of green on the wings. But I suppose we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So I do think the way his head is set up, it literally makes it so that. Oh, did I? Oh, Spike, you are sad, Spike. I think it does make it so that he's looking down the barrel of the gun, which is pretty flippin' sweet. If I do say so myself. All right, that can be glued on. That is a nice touch. I guess that warrants him having two heads to choose from. Because now that it's put together, his head's canted a little bit. He's actually, yeah, he's he's looking down the barrel of the gun. That is rad. That is a really nice touch. I mean, he is staring straight down. That is a nice, nice touch. I thought it was frivolous. I mean, I guess his head could be this way if he had a scythe in his arm. I guess. But that is pretty darn cool. I can't tell if his arm is fused though. It's not. It needs more glue. It needs glue on the sides. That would be a total pain if I caught that late. That would be terrible. If it was only attached by the hose. Oh my god. His arm would constantly be wobbling and everyone's going to pick him up by the wool. Now his head's wobbling. Oh man, he is. Now he's PO'd again. Why don't you want to sit the right way? Alright. One last try for victory. Leave it till right at the end with his head to all of a sudden be like, wow, this thing is not coming together like I thought it was. Of course, now I have to get this gun on here because I've got wet glue going. It's a race against time, folks. All right. So just hold gently in like 8 different places. Precious Mortarion. Don't smush the spikes on his head. That is so precarious. All the signs are telling me probably good to go at this point. Put a little drop in this crease. And a little bit of cleanup. But he's looking very Mortarion-like, which is a bonus. A little bit in this crease. And then clean up. Just gently nudge him in the right direction. All right, that is minus the scythe. There's Mortarion. This whole loop goes in underneath behind him. And it'll rest in the little notch that is in his pauldron. But we're not putting the side on. It's too complicated back there. Well, I mean, obviously I'll put it on eventually, but I'm going to paint it as a sub part. Gets me that. That gets me that. And very soon thereafter, I mean, they, on the model, they're like, you've already put the wings on. Like, no way, Jose. I think got his head, I got his arm, got the scythe here, the wings will be later. I think I'm good for now. I think it's a good time. Hands getting shaky. A little bit of turmoil with his head. I think now's a good time to just pause, put everything in a nice bin. I will snip the wings out some other time. I'll snip out all the metally bits that I need. I'll prime everything up, and then we'll be in a good spot. At that point, we can start painting. I do have to decide how I'm gonna prime him. I mean, I know the wings are gonna be white. I don't want to prime the body black. Don't have an airbrush, so I can't just into all those little nooks and crannies with something darker. And priming with white is rough when you leave little spots internally. But I don't want to prime them with green because I'm not painting them green. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, honestly, I prime my Death Guard green and then I go over them with white, so it's probably fine. If he doesn't have a lot of green on him, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Anywho, I'm going to bounce. Thanks a bunch for hanging out and watching me with mostly ease. Only a couple little spots of scariness. Put these subparts together for Mortarion. And hopefully next time, the weather's good in between, I can get some parts primed up. Get this body primed up, the sides primed up, the wings primed up. And then we start painting. And that's when it gets wild. So thanks a bunch. Have a good night. And hopefully we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.